the Modern Mystic. Welcome, welcome. Hi.
Hi, did I do this right? Okay, hold on.
Yes, yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
Yep,
Hi,
I can hear you good.
Michael.
Yeah, it's always fun with. Have you watched any of the lives yet?
Yeah, I've watched that. I've signed on a couple times. I'm gonna make this a little louder for myself. Yeah, I've signed on a couple times and watched some of those and watched some of the playbacks, so it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
looks like a good
always
time.
fun to have new people come through with the new guests.
Yeah.
It's just because there's the regulars, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are kind of always here, but it's
Oh,
fun to kind of just see the new people come through too.
yeah. Hmm.
Oh my gosh. My notes are on my phone. So I was gonna go live on my iPad. I haven't done this on IG much. So I
Oh,
was
yeah,
getting
I
ready,
mean, and that's what I'm
right?
doing too. I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, how do I like position the, because I was like, should we
Right.
try it on my computer? And I was like, don't even go there and try that. That'll be a mess. So,
I know. I thought of it too. I thought of it too. But I had, a few notes written and they're on my phone, but I think they're on my iPad too. I'm almost sure they'll transfer. Hopefully
all right.
everything's connected. Of course it's not.
Well, we got all the time. We could just chill. We're just chilling. It's a chill Saturday night. No rushing,
Right. And there's
right?
Luca. Yay, Luca. Luca's gonna come up. Actually, they're loading. Because I don't use my iPad that much, but it's loading, so I think they'll load. So
Okay.
we'll be good.
Mm, cool.
Luke, Luca, you want to come up? Let me see how I do this.
I think he
Um,
can even request to join.
yeah, he can.
That's what I did. Hi,
Huh.
Luca.
Interesting. Okay, I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way here. Let me see.
We're just, like I said, we're just hanging.
Yeah, okay, I found it. Luca, I'm inviting
Okay,
you.
Joyce.
Hi, Tanya. Okay, twist my arm. Welcome, everybody. We have Elyse
Oh, now I can
tonight.
actually see my full view. Oh, see, I was seeing like half my forehead. Now I'm
Oh,
all
really?
sketched.
So when
So I'm gonna make this because you can't really tell. Okay.
Hi,
Look at
Luca.
us, just look at us being all like, we're just getting calibrated, folks.
Yep, we
Grab a
are.
drink, hang
It's
out,
the
get
beginning.
settled.
Yeah, exactly. I got my kids making me coffee right now. Like I'm the best kids
Ooh,
on earth.
coffee. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
I made the smoothie. Okay, for the folks out there, best tea combo: Celestial Bengal spice with Vermont maple ginger. You mix the two together, best combo.
Wow. He said it was the good half of her forehead.
The good half. Wait, what? Oh, what's the good half?
that he could see that was on camera.
I'm glad it was the good half. Oh man,
Hey Luca, how's your connection?
Seems to be okay if the audio works. Seems to be
looks
okay.
you look perfect to us.
It
To
does
me,
actually. It's
Oh,
good.
see, thanks. Give it about a half an hour before the airplanes start coming over, and then it's gonna be all a shit.
Well, yeah, it started pretty quick already. So as we see the
as we go.
Great,
buffers.
doing great, and thank you Lee, for agreeing to be our guest tonight. So, Stacy, when you want to start, and we'll go from
Luca,
We're
you're
losing
buffering
you.
really bad.
But
there.
I heard
See,
you say thank you, and I'm saying you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to
okay,
be
how's the
here.
audio now? How is the audio now?
I mean,
Go
ask.
ahead. I mean, yeah. I don't think it's gonna be good, Luca. It's just like buffering. Like really, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. Is the audio okay better now?
It's not too bad right now.
All right.
Every time I
I
say it,
Make
it's gonna go in and out probably.
yeah.
it
Every
is for
time
a
I
little
say
bit.
it, yeah.
All right, let's get started then. Welcome everybody to our 3 plus B Saturday. Today is November the 12th.
12.
We have a special guest tonight. We also have a special host tonight. I'd like to first of all welcome our guest, Elyse, Mystic, Modern Mystic 222 on
Yeah.
Instagram. If you haven't been following her yet, you should. And we'll get into what she actually does, what type of services and work she does. But I also like to introduce my partner, one of my partners, and the host for tonight, lady at the top of the screen, lady of the hour, Miss Stacy Michelle. If you're not following her, please do so. She does some beautiful, spiritually inspired jewelry. She was also one
Oh,
of my
that's
guests
beautiful.
when we first started
Thank
out
you.
our weekly lives. But with that said, I will pass the mic over to Stacy.
Luca, that was all clear. Like that was,
That was really was clear.
Good,
I was like,
yeah,
good,
whoa.
that was perfect.
good.
That
I'll
whole
edit the
time
other shit
there.
out. I'll edit the beginning out.
Okay. Well, I just want to welcome you to Elise. This is my first time doing this. I just, like I'm pretty casual and I used to go live on Periscope. Were you on Periscope, Elise?
No, but and the first time I had heard about it was when me and Luca had chatted about this, but it sounded like a fun time. I didn't even know about Periscope.
Oh, yeah. And that's the funny thing that we always find funny is that there were so many people on Periscope, but still so many people have never even heard of it.
Yeah,
It was like
I
a
feel like
great little
honestly,
secret.
never. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
How long have you been? I mean, you're on social media here on IG. Are you on other platforms as well?
TikTok and YouTube. I do a little bit less on YouTube now, but I still post stuff on YouTube, but I do TikTok and Instagram mostly. Some Facebook stuff too for some other pages and
Nice.
things that I dabble in.
Do you go live on any of the platforms?
I go live on TikTok. I've gone live on
Okay.
TikTok more than Instagram. I've been wanting to go live more. I was just trying to, it's like a whole, I mean, going live. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like I go live technically. So I'm on an improvised sitcom team and some of them are here cheering me on here
Nice.
in the chat.
Nice.
But yeah, we have an improvised sitcom called Live from the Asylum and we go live on Facebook for that. So
Oh,
it's a fun
fun.
time.
I like the
Yeah.
name.
Oh yeah, it's about like basically we all play the same characters, but it's improvised every time. And it's about like just people who live in like an old asylum that was turned into a comedy club. So it's like all the different characters who like live and work at like the comedy club.
Oh my
It's a
gosh.
fun little thing.
That
We're on
sounds like
season
fun.
6 coming up. So
Wow. Okay, so you've been doing live on social media for a while then.
yeah, I guess so. Actually, I guess so.
Yeah. Because a lot of people it's pretty new for. Some are seasoned and whatnot, but you are a tarot reader, right? You
Yes,
read tarot.
I do.
And in your professional life, you're a corporate leader.
Yeah, so like I have so yeah, I mean, so I like run for right now I just started a new job. So I run business operations at a tech company. So I've made like I know the last like 15 plus years, I'm aging myself, but just been in tech and so like I've done like a bunch of different operational roles and so I consider myself like
Mm.
a leader in tech like so it's so weird. I'm just gonna like presence this because it's like really hard for me to just even say my title. It's this weird resistance I have, but like so like I'm currently vice president of business operations. So I consider myself in a leadership role in
Mhm.
tech and corporate America, which is very interesting with these last 4 to 5 years, like really more like kind of having my spiritual awakening and
Mhm.
like really feeling into that part of myself and then really feeling so authentically in that space and then kind of being in a world that can feel so opposite. So
Right.
my path has really been and like what I try to do with the channel and more is like merge the two. And it's really more just about being myself. So it's like really just trying to bring who I am. And like, obviously the spiritual, like tarot has like literally really opened me up to like, and just continues to open me up to like who I truly authentically am. Like I'm still finding that, right? But it's like, so how do I bring that to work every day? Or how do I start bringing that in and becoming more comfortable even talking about it? So in this new job, I was very like, I made a promise to myself. I'm like, I'm going to go in and be like totally myself. And like the first day I was like, look at my Instagram. Like, but I was like, I didn't want to hide that part at all, you know, but it's like something, it was scary. It's still kind of, you know, it still is, but yeah.
Well, you kind of answered my question, because I was wondering how the two worlds merged for you. And because they're quite different worlds.
Very different.
And like, I'm curious, if I ask anything that you're uncomfortable with, whatever, you
I'm
just
pretty much an
say,
open book, but yeah, go for it.
Okay. If you ever use like tarot or your spiritual gifts or anything like that to hi divine, if you use those gifts in that capacity in the corporate world, you do.
I mean, I honestly am really exploring it more and more, but I will say like a lot of the time, even when like I connect, like because I feel like with tarot, like I love tarot cards. I love reading tarot. I love the art of like how it's like someone's so unique expression of like the arc, like universal energy. Like I just love tarot as art and as a form. I do feel like I channel a lot though. Like I feel like the cards are a tool, but I am like a channeler. So I feel like there's a lot of times where I like in those times like where I definitely like will just like channel a lot of like business ideas, things like that, or like just like truths. And like more and more, I mean, I truly believe, and especially in like a program I'm in, like I'm really more cultivating some more of those skill sets. And there's a lot of information I believe to be had that is like from connection, like more from source, that like can be used for society, right, in all different facets. So I think like I just think, yeah, like I really can see the two merging in terms of one, like using those abilities to get information, but also like I feel like tarot is very healing, and um I feel that the two worlds can definitely meet, because any place that you spend like the majority of your day or your weeks with people is like a container. It's like relationships are how you heal, how you like it really is like you need interaction to do healing work. And so like the more we can create like community in our workspace, the more that like we can really utilize that time for personal growth. So that's kind of how I see myself like really merging the two. Yeah, in the future, but it's like, it's a little progressive.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. I think that authenticity is something that we're all looking for right now, especially. And so when you get it in the workplace, that's just a huge gift, a blessing. I think you're bringing that there, and that's encouraging. I like hearing it.
Thanks.
I'm wondering if there was like a defining moment for you. Hi, Sugar. If there was like a defining moment for you that your spiritual journey began, if it was something in particular.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely during the pandemic. Like, it was just for a lot of us. I feel like a lot of us had those catalyst events, right? During that time. And for me, it was definitely that time. Like, I went through some things, and there was just like, it's just like those moments where you're just like, there has to be like something, like another way to heal. Like, I'd been doing, like normal therapy, or we're all going through stuff, right? But like, you reach kind of like a point where it's like you feel like you're doing the work. And I feel like there was just some moments that were really difficult for me. And I'm trying to remember like the exact, like, it's just, I feel like certain things happened, or, I got to certain places emotionally where I started looking outside. I think, to be honest, I really felt like I was going through something. A friend sent me a YouTube tarot video. And they're like, oh, this reminds me of a situation. You might resonate with this. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, I've done this before.
So
it
you
was like
hadn't
a moment. I'd never know what tarot was.
You didn't. Oh, wow. Okay.
like literally what 4 or 5 years ago, right at the beginning. Never knew. Someone's like, oh, watch this video, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, what are these? And I was like, oh, okay. And then and actually, so there was that piece with the tarot. I think before that though, yeah, I think my therapist had recommended like it was called Psychic Horizons. It's a Bay Area, kind of like, it's like an energetic school. And it was like my first intro to doing more like chakra and energetics. And it was like kind of mindfulness, but very much like energetic chakra stuff. And so that was where it first started like harnessing a little bit more of the psychic stuff, a little more of the chakras. Then like the tarot came in. And then it was like, oh, wait. And then like you start getting flashbacks a little bit of like when I was younger, and I was like, I did love crystals, and then it's like you didn't even realize. It's like, yeah, I always liked crystals when I was really young, and I never even knew why. And then like I remember like I had like a flashback where I was like 6, and I was like asked my parents for like nature sound videos, and I had like a mask, and I was like in my room just like listening to like nature sounds, and I was like, was I like figuring out how to meditate when my family had like no idea what this was? So it's like you kind of like see how like you're like, huh, maybe there was this part of me that I just didn't realize. So just I don't know, but then I just got like so into it. So then it was like tarot, and it was more like I went through all these different levels of the Psychic Horizons course, and then I started getting more into different modalities, and I found like really my spiritual community that I'm in now. And it's a 2-year like adult development program, and like community of just amazing folks, and like it's just
That's
like
amazing.
I'm a completely different place. Like, and I have to shout out to my improv community, because I feel like that's been a big part of my healing too, has been improv. It is such a healing modality when like you can be with a group of people and like you're just being, it's like whatever that there is to express, you can express, and the rule is yes, and like someone's validating you, like like that's so healing, and it's just play, and I think like we don't do enough play. Like,
oh, you're so right.
Healing.
It's like getting in touch with the inner child, right?
Yeah. And my inner child like wants to like be an actress. So that's why I was like, I think it's Michael still on. I was like, when I started doing improv, I was like, I always wanted to be like on like, I don't know, like a show like Friends or something. When I was younger, you're just like, oh, I want to be an actress. And I never really did anything like that, to be honest, until like doing improv the last few years. And I was like, is there a such thing as an improvised sitcom? And Michael's like, yeah, I think there's like a form. And I was like, can we make one? And now it's like such, but it's like, so yeah. So me and him run like another community called A Lot More Better Improv and Self-Expression. We run, we host like free jams for people all across the country. We've met so many people. I've met so many people through improv during the pandemic. It's amazing.
Wow.
So there's so many communities out there. Like as I'm saying, like pandemic's been really tough, but then like, wow, how rich it's been from like a relationship standpoint, I feel like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. I love how you recognize when you were little the organic, authentic connection that you had with spirit, or whatever you call it, right? And I think a lot of us do that we reconnect with that part of ourselves when we start to unlearn certain things and take in just take in the new. And I used to love Native American flutes. And like when you talked about that, it made me think about that. I used to love Native American flutes, and I still do. But music is just an amazing way to raise our vibration, to connect, to meditate, all of that.
Oh my gosh, girl. You just like, it's like I got chills because when I was younger, I played like the regular, like, like the traditional flute. And I remember I started with piano, and then when I didn't really know why, and I started playing the flute, and I was naturally good at it. Like I was always first chair, never practiced, like did it as like a job in high school or whatever. And I was just always wondering like, why did I pick the flute? Because I always wanted to be like, why didn't I pick the guitar so I could like, play? It was like more of like the sexier instrument. So then the last few years, I went to a cacao circle, and the shaman who runs the circle is a musician, and I picked up a Native American flute and I played, and I was like, this is why. When I started listening to the music, I was like, that's why I was attracted to it. So now I have a bunch of Native American flutes.
Oh
And
my
I just bought
God.
it. So I have a bunch of Native American flutes that I love. I just bought a didgeridoo. And it's
Oh,
7 feet
wow.
tall. It's 7 feet tall. It's like the coolest thing. So I'm like so into that music stuff. And I agree, like music is so,
Mm,
like that's the way I meditate is through dance. I really can't,
mm-hmm.
I'm not really a still meditator. I try, I can do somewhat more in group. But for me, my meditations are like more dancing meditations. Like I really
Okay.
connect when I dance. So I do a lot of dancing, and I was hosting ecstatic dances on virtual ecstatic dances during the pandemic too, which were really fun. I love ecstatic
Wow.
dance. Yeah.
These are so many things that I've never heard of before that you're talking about, and it's making me curious. And
Ooh,
curiosity is amazing, right? Like it takes us out of our comfort zone. So that's awesome. Um, and yeah, I love that you are saying that you meditate through dance because, so many people have this picture of meditation and the om and the silence, and I can't do it, and I can't do it, like so many people think they can't do it, and it's not, it doesn't have to be that. For me, I'm resonating that with you on that because mine happens through jewelry. I do have my different meditation where it is silence and stuff, but meditation naturally happens through doing my jewelry. And I think that happens a lot with people in their craft or just anything that people do that allows them to, they allow themselves to go there, to be taken there. And it's just amazing.
totally.
Dance is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a form, and so I just want to like totally validate that because I feel like there's so many forms of like, again, like like meditation in terms of yes, like there is the meditation where you're really trying to find like that awakened awareness, the
Mm-hmm.
spaciousness, the stillness, like the nothingness, like yes, and
Mm-hmm.
that has its place. But then
Right.
like there are other times where like as we start connecting to that place, like you feel energy in the body, and so that's where it's like like I feel like true nature is when like that awakened awareness, that awareness actually recognizes energy, right? Because like there's
Yeah.
energy, so it's more of like this, what my program would call simultaneous awareness, but like really like heart, and it's like awareness recognizes how rich the energy field is, so it's more that bliss place.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, depending on our dynamics, like I have a lot of some, like I hold a lot of energy, and I'm very in touch somatically with like sensation, like I'm more clairsentient probably, so there's just like I'm very
Mm-hmm.
energy rich, and that's just my natural
Right.
makeup. And so although I can really practice finding nothingness, I naturally have a lot of energy, so when I'm
Right.
still, I can feel the somatic pain, right? Like
Right.
I feel the energy in my body. And so I do encourage people, like if you're in meditation, like just because you can still and do it, and like you could just, sometimes I'll just go really slow and like move just to like allow it to discharge, because otherwise you can
Mm.
actually be less connected. So there's a lot of different
Right.
ways, right? But like I use dance to really transmute a lot of energy too. Like again, I can like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can take on a lot of energetic, either my own somatic pain I want to like release and heal, or you take on energy throughout the day or however that is. So then like I go into
Right.
dance and I want to like pound it into the ground sometimes. Like I'm like fire. Like I'm like, like pound it.
I love
Like
it.
so like I feel like that's how I like transmute it.
Yes. And there's an element of mindfulness right in there because it's in the moment and moving the body, what I'm doing next, but I'm right here feeling I love it.
Yeah,
I
because
love
I
it.
kind of feel like it could almost be like the transcendental meditation where it's like, fine, but the music then is your point of focus.
Hmm.
Because that's where, like, even in the traditional, it's like your point of focus is like the nothingness or the silence. But you also, in some of the transcendental meditations, there's like a sound or a rhythm or whatever that you're focusing on. So, whatever your point of focus is, it's still a practice of attention, which is what meditation
Hmm.
is, like focus of it, like basically building the muscle of attention and meta awareness, right? So you can
Yeah.
use the song or your movement as your point of focus. I
Hmm.
mean, so there's just so many ways to think about it. But I just say, like, do whatever makes you feel good and connected and
Yes.
relaxed and
Yeah.
nourished, you know, like it really, like, however you want to discharge, like, that's the important part, like forcing ourselves to do something unnatural, like, or that there's only one way to do it. Like,
Right.
everybody has their own, and bring your uniqueness to yourself. But it's like, that's why I love tarot. It's like more self-reflection. It's like the whole experience. I tell people, they're like, oh, like, what is it? Or I can't read. And I'm like, it's literally like, even if all you did was take a card, I think everyone should have one, and you put it out in front, and then you just read the book. And even if you were just like, that's not how I feel, I'm like, explore that. That's literally the
Right.
reading. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's about the whole experience. It's not about like, oh, this means that this is going to happen. It just means like, just notice how you feel.
Yeah.
Just notice anything. It's just a practice of awareness, really,
Mm-hmm.
and like emotional awareness.
Hi, Grizz. Grizz just joined
Oh,
us.
hi, Grizz.
That
She's
is
been
so important and huge. The no rules, right? I think so many of us are attached to those rules, and I have to do this way, or I have to do it this way, and how much freedom there is outside of that, and creating, because we are creators, right? Like, that's what we are, creators, and we have to
Yes.
give ourselves permission and others permission to go there, step outside the rules.
Agree.
And it sounds like
Yeah,
you've done that a lot.
I feel like I have been a lot, you know, and then you start noticing how many rules there are, but it's like there are in some ways self-imposed, and in
Right.
other ways like not, right? So like it's so, because you do realize, like, in some of these ways it's about making the choice for yourself, or like about being able to realize that, or just even having like the confidence to. And I mean, I met a friend through one of the Psychic Horizon school, and she had gone there for a particular reason, and she realized, she's like, you know what, these tools, like, they're not, like, they were trying to impose certain things that weren't helpful for her. And she's like, you know what, wait a second, like, actually, like, I can make my own tools to help myself with this. And now, like, she's found her own way, that's her unique way of, with her own, like, and that's even more that's like self-healing in itself, of like trusting your own information. And so that's the transmission too. Like, she might be able, like, other people likely by statistical probability would be helped by the tools that she uses for herself, but also, like, just knowing that, like, you've created something that helps yourself is powerful, right? So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just, the more we connect with ourselves, we feel like our power, you just start recognizing your power more and more, and then your power to choose that, which is hard. It's like, you know, it's difficult. It's not easy.
Very good points. I have a question about the numbers 222.
Yeah.
Is that significant to you?
It is. It's my birthday.
Oh my gosh, is it really?
Yeah, so 222 is my birthday. So this year has been like I feel like I had a lot of pressure on myself because I had a lot of good things going on in my chart. It was like 22222. And I had, like, I'm a Pisces, so I had like Jupiter in Pisces. I'm a Taurus North Node. I had the North Node in Taurus. That was just, so it was just like a lot of good stuff in my chart where I was like, man, I really need to go. Like, I feel like I put a little bit of too much pressure on myself this year, just because I'm like, oh man, this is the year. But yeah, that's where it's at. And my soul path number, so not the life path, but the soul path, which is based on your birth name in numerology, is a master number 22. I told my parents that, and they had no idea what that meant. I was like, you guys picked a good name. And they're like, oh, we did good. I was like, actually, in that sense, yeah, because I was like, that was legit like a great selection to get the Master 22 and 222. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I'm a life path 3 though, so threes I resonate with too a lot. Though I really do like 333 is a lot too with my life path 3. But yeah.
Nice. Grizz said her birthday is 221.
Oh my gosh, we're almost birthday sisters.
Yeah, you guys are right there, close together.
I'm a Pisces sun. What is your sun sign? I'm Pisces sun, Cancer rising, Leo moon, and then a lot of Pisces and a lot of Sag. I'm all fire, water. I literally have no air and like no earth in my chart. Just fire and water.
I am a Taurus sun.
Ooh.
Sag moon. Yes, okay. Sag moon and Libra rising.
Oh, you have such a good
It's
balance.
all Venus on that.
Such a good balance. Oh my God. Oh yeah, because you're Libra Taurus. Ooh, the
Yeah.
Empress. Ooh, Empress vibes.
um, cool. So, I mean, you've told us some of your hobbies, but are there some that you haven't mentioned? Like,
I mean, I love the improv. I love the dancing. I love tarot. I love all this studying. I love nature, right? So obviously, like, I love just getting out and like hiking in nature. So
mm,
I'm definitely a nature lover. Although, like, I don't have like, I will say, like, I'm a little bit more realmy. Like, I really do like, I love nature so much, but I don't feel like as like really connected as I do where I feel like floaty up in the cosmos. Like, I feel like when I'm like
mm,
really relaxed, I'm not as like earth energy, to be honest. Like, I do love nature, but I'm really more of like a stargaze and like feel like
mm.
go out into the cosmos than I am like really like sit in like nature and really feel like part of the earth. It's like I've been
That
cultivating
is
it more,
me.
but I know I could tell, well, because just even based on like your energy, like you have a
Hmm.
lot of earth, which is so you're like
Yeah.
earth and water, which is like so mama nurturing. It's so such a yummy
Very much
energy
me.
because you're so watery, but the earth water is like because I have a lot of water. Um, but I have a like I feel like my water because it has more water realm, it could be a little bit more like white light, like it's like the ma energy of like like universal mother, like more of like white, like
Hmm.
pure light versus
Hmm.
like your energy with the water mixed with earth is like literally like the cradling of the ocean and
I'm
like the
like, I don't know.
warm
I'm like
honey.
feeling all that.
Yeah. Mm.
Are you all from the USA? Yeah, yeah, we're all from the
Yes.
US. Yeah. And hi, Suchi. Thanks for coming through, hon. Um, Luca and I were just talking about this the other day. We were talking about me being a Taurus, and I really feel that. I just am curious about other people too, because I really feel that it I'm very grounded, and so with spirituality and stuff, I can't get too far out there, if you know what I mean. I always got to come back down
Hmm.
and be grounded. But I'm very
Yeah.
spiritual, it's not, it's just some of the stuff is, I just feel like I got to come back down if I get too far out there.
But see, like the earth is like the mother. It's like it is like so you might have like a really intense connection with animals, right? Or like
Yeah,
literally like my some of my teachers like they go into nature and like they like teach us how to like really feel the spirit of the petal of a flower.
right.
Like so like there is so much to like the earth like spiritual connection,
Hmm.
and this is like
Yeah.
what nurtures our physical body and like we're both like we're the soul, but then we're
Hmm.
also the earth body, and they're both part of like who we are. Like I feel like spiritual, and then like again like connection to animals and like the land and all of that stuff is so
Yeah.
spiritual, right? It's the
You,
Taurus energy, and that's just
hmm.
Taurus in the tarot, right? Is the Hierophant, which
Hmm.
is like source, but it's source on earth and it's
Yeah.
Taurus. So
You're
it's,
making a lot of sense.
yeah, I mean, like when I'm around, like I feel like so much beautiful mother, ma,
Hmm.
divine feminine, earthly. Like, look, the divine feminine, the Empress is like so spirit. I mean, so I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, you're not as like up in the cosmos, but like there's like it's your own
It's
flavor. It's
yeah.
still.
The way you worded it and created the picture really made it make sense for me, and it's so
Hmm.
accurate. And like I go back to my childhood, and everything has the trees just nurture me. The dirt. I was a swimmer. The water, it just does it for me.
Yeah.
And so I get, and anytime I need to feel, when I need to clear my energy and feel centered or just get myself right, camping is like my thing.
Yeah, see, it
Summers.
makes so much sense. But see, you're
Yeah.
also because like you're earth, water, but you also have fire. You're
Yeah.
earth, water,
Oh, yeah.
fire. So you got, oh, I love your energy. I feel your fire too. Yeah, so
Thank you.
that's like
Thank you.
really like you have like, oh, I mean, again, earth like is like root chakra, yes, like you're super connected, but then it's also like a little bit of like the third, like you're really strong in your identity. Like I feel your third chakra really strong, but then your water's like all your sacral like honey yumminess, and then
Mm-hmm.
fire is like dynamism. It's like the heart chakra. And then you have
Mm.
this, you're super in touch, but like you have like it's amazing energy. It's great.
Oh
Like
my
my
gosh.
system loves it.
Thank
My
you.
system loves your energy because I'm like, because like I'm
I
watery
love
too.
yours.
I have water and fire, but then I have like barely any earth, and I'm like more realmy. So like, it's just like I love like fire and earth. Like earth helps ground me because I'm so floaty. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
around like an earth, I'm like, oh yeah. And then you
Yeah.
can like feed off my, and then you just like meet. Like we like
Yeah.
meet, and we're just like, but you have a lot of gooiness. I get all the warm honey right now. I love it.
I love it.
All the
You're
water.
super intuitive. Very. Are you real? Or do you know the astrology real well? Have you? Because you
You
seem
know,
like
I
you're.
dabble. Like for me, it's like I just like try not to put pressure. Like I'm not an astrologist because there's so much to learn about
Oh,
I mean, like there are people who like but
yeah.
I try like to keep like I try to learn as I go. Like I know like I look up the transits.
Hmm.
I feel like I definitely connect with the moon cycle, and I try to like, especially like if I ever do readings for folks, like when they reach for a reading, um, I like bringing the birth chart in because even like some people
Hmm.
don't even like so then I practice reading it, right? So it's just like I'm learning as I go. I know enough to be dangerous, and I know enough to integrate it into tarot because I love like a little
Yeah.
like so I studied numerology, and I'll keep learning a little bit because it makes
Hmm.
the readings richer, like because like there's
Yeah.
planets with the tarot, and then there's numerology you can use the tarot, so there's all the different layers. So the more, even just knowing a little bit helps like
Yeah.
just make the message richer. So I like
Yeah.
just but I try not to put too much pressure on myself because I'm like, then it's not as fun. So I feel like I
Yeah.
have to
No,
be
I mean,
experts
that's
about
a great
everything.
approach. Definitely. Because it is, I mean, tarot alone is just so much. There's so much to know. And I do agree that you bring in some different elements like the numerology, astrology,
Yeah.
the chakras. How about colors? Do the do you use the colors in tarot a lot?
A little bit. Well, so like the traditional meetings, I see, I feel like probably not. Like I think when I think colors, I think of like more of like the colors associated with the chakras, which maybe a message will
Hmm.
come up. But I know that in the tarot, there's traditional meanings like with the red, like cloth would be. And like, I try to pick those things up. Is that what you mean by the
Yeah.
colors?
Yeah. Just
Because I
like
know there
pulling the
is like,
colors from the cards and any symbolism they might have for you, or right,
I
like there doesn't have to
mean,
be rules.
there has to be rules. I'm definitely, and I was talking to Luca about this, I'm definitely very much an intuitive reader. So, like,
Mm.
I definitely know the basic meaning. Obviously, like, I know the meanings of the cards and the meanings behind it. And I love, especially there's some great Instagram tarot readers who really get into like what the symbolism really was, like, and like you just pick it up and like
Yeah.
I feel like when something resonates, like you remember it and then it'll come out in a reading if it's supposed to. But for me, like that's why I love have so many different decks, it and all different art forms of it because I kind of just like feel into the energy of the card. Like I know basically what it means, but then it's like how is it making me feel, or like just something on the card will jump out at me and it'll like make me have, because that's what I'm saying, I'm more channeling a lot.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
really is more intuitive about like what is the energy of the card, like what am I feeling, or what am I literally, who am I connecting with, and like I'm feeling their energy. And then but I'll notice like something on a card and I'm like, oh, I'm noticing that star, or I'm noticing
Yeah.
that thing on there, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm way more of like a whatever messages is coming out, like what comes out, not as traditional with it, I guess.
Hmm. How did you learn tarot?
Yeah, I got that. My friend sent me that video, and then I was like, wait, what is this? And I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it felt so familiar. So then I got a deck, and then like I don't know, I just feel like I picked it up. I started learning the cards, and I don't even remember. Like before I knew it, I just feel like I loved it. And then I like really
Yeah.
wanted to start a channel, and I remember I was like, I remember, like, you know, I started being like, I had to be perfect, or like, when is the right
Mm.
time to do it, or how do you do it? And so, anybody who's watching this or who watches this, who've been thinking of starting anything, literally the very first video on my YouTube, I was like literally on a walk or on a jog, and I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm gonna just record. I'm like, this is gonna be my first video because if I don't start it doing something, I'm never going to. So I'm just gonna make
Mhm.
this first video of me not looking cute, kind of like just like
Yes.
walking around, just like literally not even knowing what I'm saying. And I'm like, starting this channel, here you go. This is what this channel is going to be about, and we'll see. And I posted it.
Bravo.
And
That's
that's what I'm saying.
awesome.
It's like, then when you do that, you just realize you're like, just do it. It'll just get better over time. And I remember like my
Hmm.
first readings, I was like literally sitting on the floor with like my couch being the thing. And now it's like, it just gets like over, like as time goes on, you just like start doing different things, or it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but you go back and you were like, oh, I'm glad I just started doing it.
Yes.
Like, just do it.
No, I think that's amazing. And it's a really great lesson to anybody listening that is thinking about doing anything, is literally just jumping in there. I struggle with perfectionism and having everything be perfect before I present it. And I try, I'm working on that, on
Yeah.
fighting that. And, um, I know there are a lot of people that struggle with perfectionism, and that some of the greatest gifts I gave myself were doing just what you did, is just literally just jumping in, not having it be pretty and perfect, and just doing it.
Yeah. I mean,
So
there's
I
so
commend
much
you.
to that. No, and I just want to validate that it is, especially in our culture, like it's actually like it's called, I mean, like it's like there's like it's like a survival pattern, like a rigid pattern, right? And
Hmm.
there's a lot of ways that it manifests in a lot of different, and again, no judgment, right? Like, this is the thing. It's like everybody's doing the best they can all the time.
Hmm.
And all the things, a lot of the stuff as we're adults, the things that bother us, or like that get to us, or we start feeling like, why do I do this? Or it's like those things are what like kept us safe. Like, those are our protectors. Like, that's how
Right.
we literally, like,
Coping.
when we were helpless and we were young, like, we developed these things to survive, and it's proof that they worked because we're here. But then we become more awakened and we become adults. We realize, hey, some of the stuff that really worked for me when I was younger, like, not it's not my favorite anymore.
Not so much.
Like,
I kind of don't
okay.
like
And
that.
then like, and then we're just like, okay, well, you know, let's try to work on this. And like, just making the decision to do that is like everything. And then but what really winds up happening is those parts, like, I don't know if, one of the modalities that I love for therapy, one of my favorite modalities is internal family systems, IFS. It is very, for me, very spiritual. So it's,
I've never heard of it.
yeah, so it's the concept of, that just like a family system, that's like, you have different parts of a family or a system. Internally, we have different parts. So, like, there's really young parts that were like frozen, maybe like they're basically
Mm.
frozen in time. And they call them in exile. So, these really young, just tiny little beautiful parts, but like they're the ones that like are in pain, right? And so then you
Mm.
have these protectors, these behavioral patterns, or these protector parts that come and do never want to have those exile parts ever feel hurt again. So then we get these
Mm.
managers in our ears, and these managers like are very like, they're the ones that are like kind of like the ones that are just like kind of hard on you, like those voices parts in your head to like kind of tell you what you should be doing, or like make you feel bad for not doing things, but they're trying to, again, proactively prevent these parts from getting hurt. And
Right.
then you have the firefighter parts, where it's like, if those barriers break, they're the things that we do, like when we're really in distress,
Hmm.
to, again, make ourselves not have to, they're still protecting these parts. And so IFS like really helps you connect with the self, and then kind of talk to all your old parts. Like, I like will
Wow.
talk to my parts all the time. So like, there are times where like I'll feel myself spinning out, or like getting into my head or something,
Hmm.
and I'll just be like, I'll like take a breath, and I'll just like
Hmm.
be like, what do you need? Like, I'll literally talk to myself, or
Right.
like, because these protector parts, the ones that like are doing the stuff that annoy us, or that we feel like, why do I keep doing this? They're the ones where like you have to honor them in a way. Like they step
Mm.
aside so we can actually connect to the parts that we want to heal when we recognize like they're tired, like they would rather do a different job. But like they
Mm-hmm.
don't want us to exile them. It's like they want to be appreciated because they do a lot of work for us and they're amazing parts of us. And so like we just like that's where like that's where it's like all the connected. Like that's where the non-judgment, like the mindfulness comes
Yeah.
in because
Yeah.
it's just like like you need to thank them, even though they cause us distress sometimes. It's like, well, thank you for trying to keep me safe. Like, I see what
Mm.
you're doing, but can you step aside so I can maybe connect with this tiny one that needs my
Right.
love right now?
Wow.
Hi, Steph.
That just
Oh,
gave
that's
me all the warm feelings. Like that's pretty amazing.
it's a beautiful therapy. It's very because it's like you can find IFS therapists or for even just the concept of parts, meaning like if you're in pain, let's just say you're like in distress and
Hmm.
like you're feeling heartbroken. Let's say you're experiencing heartbreak, you're feeling heartbroken. If you even just embody the concept of there's a part of me that's heartbroken, there's a part
Mm.
of me in pain already, that gives so much space to that part that's in pain, that like you get that little bit of space where you're not just so merged and like in it. You have
Hmm.
that little bit of space of like, oh, there's a part of me that's in pain, and if I can recognize that that's just if I can recognize that there's a part in pain, that means I'm not that pain, and already
Right.
now you have more resource to work with it and you're not just fully merged in that. And so like that's the beautifulness of that modality, which again, like all these modalities are so similar, right? They all have the
Hmm.
same concept. It's just, again, which one do you resonate with most, right?
Right.
Like which one speaks to you? So, like I know I get very interested in all of them because I think they're also amazing and there's a lot that I love. But IFS is it feels very spiritual because you're
Hmm.
connecting to your own
Yes.
self.
Yeah.
And so the IFS therapist will either, if you can't access as easy as self during it doesn't matter if you can or not, but they'll either be the self for you and kind of help you talk to your parts, or they help presence you so you get into self and then you can speak with your parts. But parts
Mm.
worth is beautiful. Like I love it. So I post a lot on my Instagram some of these things
That's
to try
awesome.
to spread, because like I don't know, I really want to destigmatize like any sort of therapy, mental health, spirituality.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's fascinating. I think we all like there should be no shame. In fact,
Mm-mm.
I think it's glorious. I love it. I think it's amazing. I will always be healing. I can promise everybody I will never be like you don't just like fully I don't know that it's like we're always can be unraveling more and more and more of our ego and get more and more
Hmm.
in touch with our true nature and higher vibration. And it's like, and for me, it's what I feel passionate about,
Yeah.
healing, like,
That's
and
amazing.
I think it's fun. So it's
Um,
fun, folks.
Stacy, can I interject for just a second?
Yeah. Oh, you
Absolutely.
sound good.
Good. I'm love hearing the conversation between you two. That's why I just sit here quietly. And if you know me, sitting here quietly is not my strongest point. But I
I
really
would
am
say
enjoying
that.
listening. I really am enjoying listening to you two having a great conversation. I just wanted to make sure I popped in real quick and said thank you again to Elise for joining us tonight and welcoming anybody who has just joined or even the replay watchers, the replay viewers, or our YouTube channel um, to our 3 Plus Me, which is our weekly live. I have been conversing with someone in chat. So there is a request for a reading if
Okay.
it's something that Elise might feel that she wants to do. And we can do it at
Absolutely.
your pace, Elise. We can do it at your time,
Oh, I
Stacy,
am
okay?
absolutely ready for whatever. I think it would be fun. I got some cards all sorted out, so I definitely have
Cool.
some. Let's see. I'm just gonna go with this
So I
deck.
just
I
wanted to
got some.
interject and welcome everybody to our weekly live again. And make sure if you're not following Elise, our special guest right here next to me, in the box next to me, the Modern Mystic 222. And our guest host tonight, right above us, is Stacy Michelle Jewelry. both on
And her,
Instagram.
I have to say, Stacy, first off, I love the conversation with you. You're just, again,
You
amazing.
too.
And your
Absolutely.
jewelry is so amazing.
Thank
I
you.
checked it out like Luca first shared your page, and I was going to follow you for this, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm so into
I
all the
told you,
jewelry.
Stacy,
So
you're gonna enjoy tonight. I told you you're gonna enjoy
Thank you.
tonight,
Yeah,
so
I
I
very much
appreciate
have.
that. But we do have our
oh,
weekly replay that does go up on our YouTube channel. For that, you can click onto my bio. It has the link for the YouTube channel where you can watch past replays of guests that we've had. Artists come on, share their work. Digital artists. We had other tarot readers. We had someone come and talk about aliens at one point, I think it was, right?
Yeah,
ooh,
it was very
We,
fascinating.
we also had Stacy, our host tonight, come in and share her work, her jewelry, her designs. You have to check out her website. Go to her bio and check out her website. Um, and some other readers as well. And tonight is Elyse. So thank you again. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Stacy. Oh, I'm sorry. And the
Luca,
person that requested the reading was Bexy Boop, Bexy
Betsy
Boop
Boo,
88,
Betsy
but
Boop
she
eight
prefers
eight,
to be
yeah,
called Bex.
Bex.
and
Okay.
Luca, thank you for helping with all those comments too.
Oh, of course,
I don't.
of course.
Sorry if I missed anybody.
No way, no worries. It's just like old times in Periscope, Stacy.
Yeah,
I got
it
you.
is.
I got
I
you.
got to get used to it again. I
Yeah,
did we want to bring Bex up or for
it's up to
are we
you.
doing a reading for her?
Yeah, it's up
It's
to you.
totally up to you.
Either
She did
Bex
ask.
can pull up, or if I was just going to ask if there was anything specific, like either a specific question or topic, or anything she would want me to know.
In
Yeah,
her
and
comment,
we could
she
do this.
did ask if there was a reading for any Geminis for this month. So I don't
Ooh,
know.
for this
I know
month.
you did some readings for Gemini on your YouTube channel. I don't know if you
Yeah,
did it in
so
your daily Instagram.
I do like air, earth, fire. So I just did for let's see, for the eclipse, which that eclipse in Taurus, girl, you probably feeling that
It was a
energy.
doozy.
I feel
It
like
was a
everyone's feeling that
doozy.
energy. By the way, folks, we're gonna feel it for like the next 6 months with this 1111 portal. It's so powerful. Like I actually, since yesterday, though, I will say like on 11, like the 1111 portal, because I was feeling that energy. You guys, like this is a major release. Like
Yeah.
this is because the North Node's in Taurus. Now I personally have North Node in my chart, Taurus North Node in my chart, but the collect that it is the North Node's in Taurus. So that's like, and it was on for the US election day, folks.
Hmm.
You can't make this stuff up. Okay.
Yeah.
Like the energy was all about like there's so much release with a full moon lunar
Hmm.
eclipse and it being an activating North Node and it being right by the 1111 portal. We're
Right.
just like
Mm,
all catapulted into our destiny. We're going to feel for the next six
Right.
months. The portal is open. Plant your seeds, folks. Step
Hmm.
through. Right. So yeah, and so in terms of Gem, so I do a like earth, air, fire, water readings. Now, you know, I started off doing YouTube readings, and they were the longer readings, and I would do them consistently for all the signs. And I mean, I love doing longer readings. I had started shifting towards the shorter ones because I mean, I don't like saying that I only do it for viewership, but I wouldn't get that many views on the longer readings, or at least on YouTube. Like YouTube's algorithm, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little tough, right? It's a little tough to break into the
yeah, it
YouTube
is.
scene.
Yep,
Hmm.
And
yep.
so when I started doing more of the other platforms, just just to switch it up, you can't really post longer you don't really post longer readings on here. So I haven't done as many longer readings, but so at least what I was doing was for every season, I was doing like Gemini season, I would do a Gemini reading, and all my readings
Hmm.
for the most part were timeless. So like if you any of those Gemini readings from the past, I've posted quite a bit of them over the last year. Would definitely take a look at them. But I might dabble and try to find a happy medium. It's just when I start doing a long reading, I'll be like, I'm only going to do a 10-minute reading. And it's like 25 minutes later, I'm like, what else? Let me do more. I just get so into it and connected. Like, so I still have to do the Scorpio reading. I feel like I think I just knew that I was gonna have to wait till after this eclipse because I was like the energy of the last couple weeks I've been feeling. I don't know about you guys, but it's intense. So, I like being super like connected and clear when I do the readings, and I've been like, I'm feeling a lot of my own stuff. But yeah, so I don't know, did she bets? Otherwise I can just start pulling some cards
Yeah,
and
she hasn't
see.
answered. Luca, I've been trying to make you a moderator and it doesn't give me the option to anymore because I know we have a couple things going on, but I've managed to block them.
So I actually kicked him out of the room.
Oh, you did. So you are a moderator.
I must be, so I kicked him out of the room.
That's
I
interesting.
sent him to
Nice.
the room with all the fire that he's been wanting. I put him in the corner in timeout. Because it's not
Thank
in
you.
this
I
room.
appreciate it.
We don't that kind want that kind of energy.
There's
Bex,
always got to
if you
be
can
at
hear
least
my
one.
voice, right? Bex, if you can hear my voice, it wouldn't be alive if there wasn't one, right?
All right.
Wait,
It,
you kicked bets out?
No,
Bex,
Oh.
we didn't
Bexy
kick
or
bets
Bex,
up.
Bexy Boop, if you can hear my voice and you'd like to join the video call to have a reading
Oh,
for
I
yourself,
see.
we were giving the opportunity.
Cause
Put him
and
in
if
the
you
flood
want,
room.
we can
There,
just
you see her? Stacy, Bexy Boop,
I
88.
do,
That's
but
her.
see, it doesn't give me the option. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna invite
So
her.
yeah, there you go. There's some options on the
I
bottom of
found
the
it.
screen
Yeah.
or on the top. Yes. So let's
There we
see. If
go.
she's in UK, it's going to be very early in the morning for her. She might have bedhead. Let's see.
Oh. Well,
I'm
either
betting she has
way,
bedhead.
she doesn't have to pop up to get a reading. I'm happy to do one, but I just wanted to give her the opportunity to throw
Yeah.
anything in the chat if there was a specific category, like, something specific question. Otherwise, I can always pull cards. Oh, now I'm
I
starting to
think
think of which
I
cards.
scrolled back and it says basically she wanted to know anything about Geminis for this month, which I'm going to listen up to because I'm Gemini sun.
Oh, Gemini. Okay, why don't I do a Gemini reading?
Sure.
But with specifically, I will be connecting to Beth's energy. But since you're also a Gemini in the house, if there's other Geminis in, take what resonates, leave the rest, right? But now I'm kind of called
Mm-hmm.
to pull these cards. So I'm gonna use these. We'll see what I decide. But okay, so let's see for bets, anything for Geminis this month, and any other Geminis, or everybody who's here. I just also feel like it's always like, again, all of this could be the reading. So take what resonates. See how you feel about this. All right, let's see what messages want to come
So I'll
out.
let you know I did connect to her energy already when she first started putting in comments. I'll
Okay,
let you
well,
know
Four
what I
Swords
feel.
comes out. So a little bit of rest, right? So some of you guys can be called to take a little bit of rest or be doing a lot of healing work. But I really just feel like it feels a little bit like an energy of like taking rest, but having to like kind of fight for it a bit, like a little bit about putting up a boundary, meaning like it's almost like standing up in terms of like not demanding it, but like, sometimes you have to really take ownership and create that space for yourself, like almost again, like the allowance of letting yourself actually have that rest. Whereas like maybe those parts of you are like, hey, like, no, we should be doing this, we should be doing this. So it's almost like a little bit of like standing in your power, but giving yourself that like space to actually recuperate from something or just take some time out is what I'm getting. Let's see. Very interesting. It almost also feels like giving yourself this space in terms of like actually having space or being in silence will help uncover a truth about something. It's like, like when like it's like really sitting in quiet or sitting in your own personal way of connection to like hear the messages, like hear the messages. Interesting. What else? Let's see more of this Four of Swords. The Chariot. Ooh. Then coming right out powerfully. So Cancer energy. So it could be dealing with a Cancer or have Cancer in the chart. But yeah, there is this determination vibe here. It's almost like stay still to move forward type of energy, It's like, because it could be a little bit more internal. It's like actually slowing down. Like, what is that phrase? I'm getting it's almost like slow down to like move, you know, like it is almost that way. It's like they're in order to like create some balance. Because look at like this reminds me of the star, like the Aquarius energy star card right here. It's like this internal balance. And right now, I mean, again, guys, we're almost out of the year of 2022, which is a 6 year. It's the year of the lovers. It really is a year of choice and a year of balance and a year of, I feel like, union.
Mm-hmm.
It's the year of the lovers. And it really does feel a little bit of like this, like, again, like this Chariot card. It's like this inner union. It's like masculine and feminine balance. And again, for me, because, you know, we all have masculine and feminine energy and all of our chakras. Some of our chakra centers are the masculine structured centers. Some are the feminine flow. We have both. We use both. And I feel like the union that we find is a unique balance, right? It's like, what is your own, it's like you're your own mixologist. It's like, what is your natural nature? Maybe even at that time in terms of like what mix of feminine, masculine energy you want to embody or you feel like is true to you, even in any given time. Right? It's like always finding that like internal union and balance, but it's like when your own masculine recognizes your own feminine energy and really honors each other, right? And works well with each other. And it kind of feels like a little bit of that like mixology energy. It's like really coming into this balance. But again, it is being called to like having to maybe almost like this Four Swords is still giving me a little bit of this like boundary protection in order to actually feel your own, like maybe even like putting up a little bit of a boundary so you can like discern what's your energy versus others, so you really can find this union, or even like not having to find it outside of yourself too, like recognizing the internal union. Yeah, Six of Swords. So there is a moving away vibe though. There is a healing vibe. There really is actually a moving out of something, or maybe moving away from cancer, like a cancer, if you're dealing with one, or it could represent fourth house, so the home space as well. So bouncing out or bringing, you know, moving into calmer waters or moving out of something. So there could be, again, there is this element of rest and movement, but really of finding some calmness, but it does seem to be a choice. And there really does seem to be movement. There could be travel as well. So for somebody, it could be travel. Three of Swords, yeah, coming out of this though, there's some healing here. So for some, it even could be as simple as like taking a trip, really to like recuperate from something. So again, taking a vacation, literally taking a vacation, but it seems a little bit more of, it doesn't seem like, oh, going off and doing something crazy with a bunch of people. It seems like a little bit more of like a retreat for the self, like self-care or like a solo trip kind of. Kind of feels like a little of that vibe of what's that movie with Julia Roberts where she like goes under the, is that like Julia Roberts?
Eat, Pray, Love?
Yeah, Eat, Pray, Love.
Eat, Pray, Love.
I'm getting a little Eat, Pray, Love vibe right now, actually.
Such a great movie.
That's what I'm getting a little bit Eat, Pray, Love. And it could be, again, like as simple as taking a day out for yourself and just going somewhere you've never been before, going out in nature. Like it could represent so many things for different people. I am getting a little bit of this nature vibe though. Okay, let's get one more energy here. Ooh. Let's take this one. Ooh, the Fool. Whoo! I like ending there. Wow. There's so much movement with the Fool energy now, but now it's, oh, how interesting. Because the way that I place it, the Fool is looking back at all these cards. Here, let me show. I think I can do this. Because I think it's pretty fascinating. And I like these cards. So like here's this Four of Swords card. You can see why I get the energy of kind of like that, you know, again, self-protection almost, or like a little bit of like protecting your own energy. And then the Chariot card here with that balance, right? And that like healing energy, that Star card. And then here's the Six of Swords, which again, it could be an internal finding that calmness, but I do get that nature vibe. And with these two, you really do kind of get that a little bit of like travel. But the Fool, which is so interesting. Oh my God, I love this. So he's reflecting. So it's almost even reflecting back on a cycle here. So this whole thing could be a little bit of reflection. And look, see that little tiger? Look how he's chasing that star. The same star that shows up here. Interesting. I need to sit on that for a second. Because that's what I'm saying. So like he's looking at this star. It could be even a sense of like starting a new cycle, seeing something in a different way, or like it almost feels like something new, but a restarting of something as well. It's so interesting. Or just again, like trying to balance something out here because he's chasing that star, but then he finds it in him. So we were talking about this being internal balance. So finding it in the self. But I am getting this vibe of like, I'm getting there's a lot of movement and a lot of freshness. So, but it really feels like, again, a little bit more of a solo experience here is what I'm getting. And on the bottom of the deck, ooh, Ace of Pentacles. See, and that's where it's, oh, I love this card. And here's this star again. Right on here. So there's this Aquarius energy I'm getting, and there is like this healing energy. There really is. And I feel like it's not a chasing it vibe, but it really is about like making the choice. Like it really is making the choice, and I do feel that. It's like kind of like choosing to go inside. It's choosing to maybe even reflect and do this internal journey, choosing this path even, and putting your energy with this Ace of Pentacles, deciding to put your energy in this path. It's a decision of, are you going to focus on this? Are you going to focus on it this month? Are you going to focus on it in this time period? Actually dedicate yourself to that, whatever that resonates for you. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting.
I like that reading. That's a good reading. Luca, were you going to add to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple things that came through. I actually was able to sense Bex's energy. And please forgive me, I don't want to feel or sound or be offensive in any way, but I got this energy of it being with her mind, her thoughts just being so scattered with so many things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Especially, I know she said she had two daughters, and lives in in a small place, but it feels like the energy that she has is just really scattered. There's just too many things coming in at once for her. And I don't know if there's a partner involved or not. It feels like there is no partner involved. So the weight of everything is like coming upon her. It's a little bit might be too much for her, might be too heavy for her. But as you're reading the second card, pull the second card, I heard the name Patricia. I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but I heard the name Patricia. So it'll probably make sense later, but I wrote everything down. So she has a comment that traveling and moving in a bit, and I've just started a new job in a care home. Ah, okay.
Wow.
Did you see the comment above that, Luca?
I did not.
She said, to be honest, I've been offered a house swap, but it's quite a way away from my family and where I live now, so I haven't made my mind up yet.
Oh, wow.
And then you see the next ones.
And then the last one I see is she says that she needed to leave her partner back in August. So I didn't see a partner. I didn't see like you were saying earlier, Elyse, about that inner part of us having the balance between the feminine and the masculine energy. I could sense the feminine energy in her life. I could not pinpoint a masculine energy in her life, which for me felt like there was no partner. So she just kind of confirmed it made sense. But wow, that's a lot for her to deal with.
Yeah. Decisions.
So Bex,
and
may I
that's
suggest?
Where, so go ahead, yeah.
No, go ahead, Elyse.
No, I was just saying, and that's where I feel like the message here, I mean, it definitely does like come through in the cards here in terms of like having to find a way to, like, how do you, when there's so much going on, it is being called to find that calmness, that rest. But again, I mean, literally like decisions in terms of what beginning and what choices to make here. And it can be really
Mhm.
stressful. And I think that's where the message was coming through that you were picking up too, Luco, is like, even if it doesn't have to be like anything major, but even just trying to carve out that 5 minutes, right? To really just kind of like where you can connect with yourself and just get a few, even if it's in the shower. Like sometimes like the shower is amazing. I mean, I know like it, but just like, and sometimes like when you're overwhelmed, like the what I do to kind of connect, because what happens is like our bodies like literally are experiencing so much. We were talking about the somatic energy, right? And it's like then
Mm-hmm.
our brain starts to try to make sense of it, and then it like can spiral. So like what I usually do is like when I know, or if I can catch myself getting into this, or if I'm feeling overwhelmed, or if I'm feeling confused, sometimes, especially if it's a mental confuseness, sometimes like you literally have to like presence the confusion. Like you literally have to be like, I'm confused. And then I'll be like, what does confused feel like? And sometimes confused, like sometimes like numb is a feeling, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if someone says I don't feel anything, you can presence that and be like, okay, let's presence the numbness because that is a nervous system. Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
protector, right? So you're actually then presencing that part that's numb. And that is something to presence. You'll be amazed what happens when you just like actually acknowledge it. But if there's ever that sense of feeling overwhelmed or stressed and you're in that place, like an easy trick to do is literally just be like, wow, I'm feeling stressed right now. Literally just start naming it. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
my, like name the sensation, like my chest feels tight. My breathing's a little bit more rapid. My heart's beating really fast. And you'll be amazed because again, you start focusing and naming the sensation, and that really does give it a lot more space. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're not necessarily focusing on the story, which then will just keep the cycle going. Like I always use it as an example of like I used to get, and I still do sometimes, but I used to get really intense where like if I would call someone I was with or like my partner or whatever, and they didn't answer, I literally would start panicking. Why aren't they answering their phone? They know that I need them to answer. If they're not answering, something must be wrong. And then I would literally start panicking, and then I would start calling them like 1,000 times. Why aren't they answering the phone? Ugh. And it was just like, so like I would panic. And like that literally would be when so I started using that tool where I would be like, okay, like let's just focus on what I'm actually feeling right now, which is anxiety. And then start
Mm-hmm.
presencing that instead of the story that will just keep the anxiety going. And so that can really help. And it only takes a couple minutes too sometimes. So
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. Tools,
tools,
good tools.
skills, like
Yeah.
there's so many great skills that like we just weren't, that's the thing. It's like we just weren't taught. Like I have a lot of emotions. I'm a highly sensitive. Like I really think I'm like an HSP. Like I'm a highly
Yeah.
sensitive being. That means I was an extremely sensitive child when we're like, so can you imagine like you have like literally no defenses and then you're just like this high, like this like sensitive being that's like even like the loudest noise. It's just like, oh, it's like,
Yeah.
it's, and so like I'm very emotional and I wasn't necessarily taught like many of us on how to regulate that. Like I don't
Right.
like, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, but it's like sometimes you are like the emotional ones who, or people who get really emotional can be like say that we're overly emotional, or especially in my
Right.
corporate America, the emotions, like you're too emotional, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
there are times where like they serve me or they don't serve me, and I never want to give, like I feel like I'm more worried about, I'm not, I really want to destigmatize the fact that like a lot of the time some people who like experience a lot of emotions are the ones that are people who a lot of will encourage them to go seek more help versus ones that are a little bit more numb. I think
Yeah.
everybody, there's skills to be used in all different, for all of us, right? We all have different ways of coping. And there's a lot of skills that we can use to regulate our emotions. Another modality I love is DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. I've done that. And literally,
Mm.
there's skills for distress tolerance, emotional regulation, interpersonal relationship, mindfulness. Like these are things that could be taught in school. Like I would have liked to learn these skills when I was young, right? Like they're
That would have
really
been
good
great.
skills. So like, and that, so there's no shame. Like I have no shame in talking about this. I love it. I post it all the time, these skills. I actually got a deck. I think I posted this. I found this deck. It's not a tarot deck, but I use it as tarot. It
Oh,
literally is
wow.
skills, and like these are amazing cards. Like these cards
Oh,
are
that's so
amazing.
cool.
So, and
Yeah.
I want to use them more in readings, but I've been using them for myself, and I just like, I love it. So,
Yeah.
there's so many great skills
Yeah.
that we just don't know about. Like I
Hmm.
didn't know about them.
I just had a thought and I lost it.
Oh, it's going to come
Darn it.
back
I
to
hate
you.
it when that
I'm putting it
happens.
out of there.
It'll,
I'm sure
yeah,
it will
it'll
come
come.
back.
Oh, it's there right away. Um, I I think we're coming a long way um, in the world of mental health um, recognition, not shaming, providing resources. We've got a long ways to go, but at least we're taking the stigma away from it. I know my kids' generation is, boy, they are warriors. They are really champions for a lot of things, but really trying to destigmatize the struggle with mental health. So I think
That's
we're coming,
amazing.
yeah, we're coming along, but sometimes things are at a snail's pace, or they have been for a while, and then we're kind of propelling forward. But
Yeah, and I think I really do feel that as well, especially with like again the younger generations. I really do. And I feel like the younger generations are really connecting to a lot of like tarot and stuff
hmm
too, more
oh yeah,
spirituality and a lot of more of like again
yeah,
coming back into the divination and astrology. So it's like really great to see. And I think that's where it's just like kind of having like more of like society kind of catch up with the newer age progressive type of healing modalities, like more
hmm
somatic healing, other types where, because like, again, not everybody even has access to insurance, but even those that do, some things that are like really the new age that have been proven to actually really work. Cognitive therapy is great, but we need to like literally rewire our nervous system. Like we have like somatic things to heal. It's not just
hmm
the cognitive. There's a lot of
right,
somatic healing that has proven really, um, really effective. But those
hmm
things aren't necessarily recognized or covered, right? Or they're just not as known, right? And it's just
yeah,
about getting the word out there about all of these amazing modalities that are really like being more studied. But it's like everything takes a while to get caught up. So
hmm
I don't really feel like it's not like I see it as like malintent. I just feel like it always seems to lag in terms of some of these, like they're of just really getting the word out there or having it be more widespread. So that's where it's like I feel passionate about just like kind of getting all, because again, everybody might just resonate with a different flavor of something. It's what really calls for them and their system, or what they resonate with or works for them. So I just want everyone to know what exists because there's so many.
hmm yeah. Um, I think it's really. I think that the more access we have to the internet and the internet alone, right? There's so much information, and of course you've got to sift then. So you've got to use your wisdom or whatever. But you, there are so many things like muscle testing, and like how we've stuffed our emotions, and they're hiding in our body, and they've turned into disease. And like I can go off on a whole tangent here, but
Oh,
I know you can relate to this and understand that you can equip yourself with your own healing. And that's the beauty, I think, is that the more you dig, um, the more you find to equip yourself and not have to rely so much on insurance and medical doctors and stuff. And not
oh,
saying that we don't need those, for situations, but I just really encourage people to, Do your digging.
100%. I cannot agree more. And again, like even IFS, for instance, I did go to a therapist a couple times, but really I just bought the book on Amazon. That was like the book that talks about it, and I read it
Uh-huh.
and I do it to myself. You know, so it's like
Yeah.
there are so many things we can study on our own or do our own type of energetic clearing.
Hmm.
Learn, I mean, again, like there's so much access to these of this information that we can then practice on ourselves
Yeah.
or with each other, by the way,
Yeah.
interpersonally. And that's one of the reasons why everything I do, like all my tarot, like even if people reach for readings, like I encourage them to maybe donate to a charity that I support, whatever they're called
Mm.
to. But like this stuff needs to just be accessible.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
really feel like we should never, like everyone should have, like this is just like we say everyone should have access to healthcare. Like for me, it's like everyone should have access to this information,
Hmm.
these types like information, knowledge, or if there is certain, we all need access to it. And so, and one of the things I practice in my community is we do what they call minis, but it's actually a form of peer-to-peer counseling. And
Oh, okay.
anytime
Nice.
that we are feeling anything, you can text a group chain and you say, hey, anybody free for a mini? And you could do 5 minutes aside where somebody, you go and like, if you're like, hey, can I have a mini? I say here with you, I presence you. I presence your
Wow.
experience. And like, and then we switch. So you basically allow yourself to drop into whatever it is you're experiencing, and someone is there presencing, validating, helping you hold whatever it is in
Yeah.
10 minutes time, three in 6 minutes time, where you can go into a mini and then come out of that 6 minutes, that literally we can heal each other. We all, the
Hmm.
world can heal each other by just validating the other person's experience. That's all this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
validating what someone's going through.
That is
I'd like to get
so
in on that minis. I think that's
I am
incredible.
amazing.
literally down to I have I am so passionate about this. I would be happy to have a mini thread with anybody else and
Yeah.
teach how to, because it's the easiest thing for folks to do.
I'm
And
down too.
it's beautiful, it's amazing, and again, it's amazing what 3 minutes of someone presencing you. They're not trying to give you a solution. It could just
Just
be them sitting in
validation.
silence and really just finding an awakened spaciousness where you're just
Yeah.
allowing whatever it is. But then, honey, your water energy, there's a lot of folks who would love your water earth mama presencing coming in. It really depends. Everyone has different systems, so that you can be very specific. So you can use these types of short peer-to-peer sessions literally to give those little parts exactly what they need. So there's some tech you can learn with certain types of, essentially you can figure out what your system might need to repattern. If there's something you want to work on, you can actually identify that and then have somebody, like, you do it to repattern it, you just do it like 10,000 times. Like, I know it sounds crazy,
Mhm.
but it's like literally like you can do it every day for 3 minutes, somebody giving that part what it needs.
This
Or
is
it could just be like I'm arguing with my friend and I need someone to sit there for 5 minutes.
right.
Let me do it. And you're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I can see so much value in this because, I mean, for so many reasons, but um, just the not feeling alone factor, just getting that few minutes, sometimes people just feel so alone. And just getting that few minutes and the validation factor to stop the ruminating that may be going on, right?
Yep.
Because that is a huge issue for some people. Not me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a huge issue for me at times. To
All
just
of us.
stop that, like, yeah, that is wow. Like, I can
Yeah.
just see the value in that in so many ways.
It is
Well, see that
incredibly healing.
that is part of the reason why we wanted to start this community, Elise. And
Hmm.
I think I explained it to you the other night, was to blow open the doors to alternative types of healing to find answers, because people are always looking for answers. There's how many billions or millions of people in this world, at least one person has a problem tonight that's looking for an answer, doesn't know how to solve it. And there are alternative ways besides the norm, besides the traditional, besides going to seek professional help. That's good. I want to make sure everybody know that if you need professional help, that's something you should do. If that's the route you want to take, yes. There's also the
Mhm.
religious type of help where Christianity or Buddhism or whatever your God is to you, that's important as well. And then
Mhm.
there are those who, like in this next generation, who have actually gone back to a time when things were a little bit more simpler. If you look on the internet, even on Instagram, you see a lot of people have gone to off grid. A lot of people have gone back to moving into nature, into tiny
Mhm.
homes, and really getting away from the every day-to-day life of social media. It's on YouTube, it's on TV, it's on the major channels, it's on Instagram, it's on all the platforms of this next generation finding alternative means for help. I
Mhm.
like the idea of the minis. I think that is awesome, and I think that's something that I really would like to get involved in. I know Stacy does too.
Yeah.
I'm sure Grizz would, um, and this community as well. And I have to say, just having you on tonight and hearing what you had to say tonight, a lot of it is new. We never talked about it the other night, and that was just perfect. But it really validates what we are trying to do here with this community,
Mhm.
what you shared tonight. So we know by just having you on tonight and sharing what you have shared and showing us so many different ways of finding help, so many different ways of offering help, really validates us in putting this community together. So for
Yeah.
those of you who are watching now and who are going to, or who have joined recently, this is our community that we are building here online. We do a weekly stream, a 3+ me every Saturday. Um, we have sometimes a special guest, like tonight. Elyse is our special guest, and Stacy, one of the partners in our community, is the host for tonight. Stacy, awesome job. You ladies look fantastic. I don't want to cut this short, so I just wanted to interject and say, I have two things for Bex. She's been commenting for a good part of the conversation that you've been having,
Oh,
and
yes,
for the
please.
reading. Thank you for the reading, Elise. Thank you so much for the reading. Um, Bex, if I can suggest, make sure you follow Elise, okay? The Modern Mystic 222. And if you'd like to have a reading of your own, a personal reading of your own, please make sure you contact her, whether it's through Instagram or her website. Do that, please, okay? And also, Stacy right above me, you can follow her as well. She actually does tarot. She is kind of renewing that her skills in doing tarot reading, if I said that correctly.
Yeah.
And also, when we go weekly lives, usually it's myself, or now we can ask Grizz to do it as well. So I am actually really glad we did tonight. I'm really glad, Stacy, you were the host tonight.
Oh, we
So I
lost her.
will, yeah, I think she might have gotten a call.
Oh,
I think
okay.
she might have gotten a call. So well, I'll stick around till she comes back. But
Yeah.
Bexy Boop is I felt her energy. Bexy, this is for you, Bexy. Okay, the second part I needed to tell you. Um, Spirit was telling me, Bex, that it's okay for you to cry. I was seeing this image of like a cleansing, like you standing in this water, like this dripping water, and I'm assuming it's probably the shower, but it's okay for you to have that emotions in the shower. It's okay for you to it's okay for you to have that emotions in the shower. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to really get that out of your system. Because the more you try and stifle it or push it down, it'll only get tougher and harder and harder and harder to get out of your system. So crying is a way of cleansing your emotions, cleansing your soul, cleansing your spirit. It's very healthy for you to do that. So please
Hmm.
know that. But I would like to give you a reading. I am sensing some things and some messages I think might help you out, hopefully. But I do this thing where I touch the screen and the other person on the other end touches the screen. I can really feel your energy. I can sense your energy.
Mm.
I can do some readings that way as well for you, Bex. Okay? And with that, welcome back, Elise.
Sorry about that.
Yes, welcome back, Elyse.
All right, Stace, we're back to you, Stace.
um, I just want to make sure that Elyse, you share, where people can find you, your socials. Lucas said you
Oh
have a website.
yeah. Oh yes. So definitely you can find me on Instagram where I have a link tree. So then all the links are there. So I do have a website if you want to request a personal reading. You can really request it on like you could DM me too. I if you're called to want a reading, I'm absolutely happy to provide one. It's not like something that I do like as a I do it like more on like again like by donation charity or just like if you feel like you're connecting to the energy and feel like I can help like I just want to I'm here to help so um definitely check that out and it gives a little bit more about me and then yeah TikTok and if you do like improv you can watch the improvised sitcom live from the asylum with me and some folks. It's a fun, again, play. I'm all about improv and play of any kind. Michael